let's get some fucking W's for Mr. Thom down below in that comment section. Montana, what the hell's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, all right. And how old are you?
I am 18.
Okay, I believe you. Whatever. What the hell, right? Can I, real quick, can I get a big W Jesse from you?
Who is Jesse?
Don't worry about it. Can I just get a W Jesse?
I guess so.
W
Jesse.
Yeah, W Jesse for the $50 donation over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Jesse. I want to see 500 Jesse W's down below in that comment section. Jesse with the $50 says, I appreciate you. Have you read the book, The Quote Unquote Righteous Mind by Jonathan Hadid? It changed my understanding of debate. Highly recommended. Jesse, I'll have to check it out. I love good book recommendations, even though I don't read books often. And thank you so much for your love and kindness, dude. Let's show some love and appreciation to Jesse down below in that chat while we're starting this next debate. And if you are watching and you'd like to show some love, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pinned message of the YouTube stream. Appreciate you guys so much. Actually, one more here before I give the mic to Montana. Thank you so much for the $35 over on Venmo from Lily. Lily, thank you so much for your kindness. That is fucking awesome. Dude, throw some W Lilies in with his W Jessies. Thank you both so much. Fuck yeah. Thank you guys. Go ahead. Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Lily and Jesse. Go ahead.
I support Trump due to, I guess, his leadership. And I think that's a very important statement for to be made, because it's not just of the person who he is. And like, I've seen like debates of yours and stuff, like it's not of who he is. Like you disagree and you don't like who he is. Like you think, oh, he's this, sex offender pretty much. I mean,
yes,
looking out.
That is, he is. Yes, he is a rapist. That is true.
And before I completely start, I will say I'll be respectful, whatever. I respect you as a person. And I think this world's gone kind of crazy with left and right, But I am going to say that, like with tariffs, okay, for instance, I think that, yes, the tariff war was completely awful. I mean, it's going to raise prices. It's going to do things. But I think it's very important that we had a president that goes and steps up and is like, hey, this isn't okay. They've been bullying us for so many years, and this isn't okay. And I don't know, that itself just kind of shows what kind of person he is as far as a leader, not saying person.
Okay, so you support him because he's imposed tariffs on our allies.
That was kind of a statement. He made a statement to them that you're not going to push us around.
Yeah, so for instance, he imposed massive tariffs on Canada. How is Canada pushing us around?
Tariffs in general. Tariffs are a weird topic.
Wait, whoa. That can't be true, because we agreed, right? We agreed to terms on trade with Canada and Mexico under Donald Trump's first administration through the USMCA that they were following to a T. The terms that Donald Trump laid out that they accepted. How could they have been pushing us around?
I guess it was just a way. I guess I'm not really talking about just Canada, but I guess.
So then, what country are you specifically talking about? Because the thing is, right? You said it is a vague, general statement that he's imposing tariffs on countries that were pushing us around. So I just, chose a country at random that he imposed tariffs on.
China. So China is a major one.
China was pushing us around. How so?
I'm sorry, a little bit. Anyways, they were imposing hella tariffs on us. Hella tariffs.
So imposing high tariffs on another country means that we're pushing them around. So when Donald Trump imposed 300% tariffs on them, we were pushing them around?
Yes, because, it's kind of one of those things where you stand up for yourself. You're like, hey, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, and do you think that those tariffs that we imposed on China, helped us?
No, I don't think tariffs in general.
They hurt. Yes, so you're telling us that you support Trump to be the president because he's imposing legislation that hurts us. So you're more like in America last kind of guy. Oh, no, tariffs certainly do hurt us. Okay, not only do they reduce the competition in the American marketplace, thereby also reducing the innovation, but they also make you pay more, okay? The tariff tax is ultimately passed off to the importer of a good, right, as just a cost of production and distribution, and then the importer of that good then passes some of it off to the consumer in order to keep their profit margins in the green. That is inflation. And that is inflation that is disproportionately felt by lower income Americans as they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumption.
Okay, but I mean, I could reverse that, and it's like with the stimulus checks and stuff that Biden was giving out on, after COVID and stuff. Yeah, whatever, people might have needed that, but I'm saying like everything could cause tariffs, and especially with like Biden and Biden's administration shutting down pipelines, businesses and stuff like that to reduce what was it that they called like the fossil fuels in the air and trying to make things go the electric route and trying to make the air cleaner, whatever. I don't know, global warming type stuff. And that's hurting us because it's raising fuel prices. Now,
so you'd say that the Biden-Harris administration raised fuel prices by reducing the amount of oil produced on American soil?
100%. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Did you know that's propaganda?
That's a fact.
No, it's not. The fact of the matter is, under the Biden-Harris administration, this country produced the most oil it has ever.
I completely disagree with you on that, respectfully.
So my source is the Energy Information Administration, EIA.gov, that is still reporting that today under the Trump administration with his appointees running it. What's your source? Watching news articles. I mean, my own input. Could you point me towards one of these articles that disputes the findings of?
I'm not on like a computer or anything. I can't report you to an article.
So you can't find evidence?
I'm not saying I can't find evidence.
Okay, then answer that question straight up. Can you?
Okay. Right this second, I can. Right this second, as we speak, I cannot.
So you are saying you can't find evidence?
I'm saying that I can't give you that evidence right this second because obviously I have no computer next to me. You have a whole setup.
Well, I guess I do have. I have two laptops in front of me. One on my right, one on my left. It's the on-the-go setup. Okay, all right. Well, hear me out. Hear me out. The Energy Information Administration, under both Republican leadership and Democrat leadership, has now reported the same fact. That fact being that under the Biden-Harris administration, we produce the most oil we ever have as a country in a 4-year span. In fact, we even have these specific levels of production, okay? So the most oil that was ever produced in a given month under Donald Trump in his first term was in December of 2019 when we were producing 12.9 million barrels of oil per day. Now, under Biden, from July of 2023 until the end of their administration, they produced well over 13 million barrels of oil per day. That's a fact, okay? Now, if you want to disagree with that, right, that's going to be purely driven by your own political bias, right, and your own consumption of misinformation. And you can prove that I am saying things that are true, that I'm not lying to you by trying to find evidence to demonstrate that I'm wrong. You will ultimately fail to do that, okay? You will not be able to find evidence to demonstrate that I'm wrong. And at that point, I would like a concession.
Okay. Then if I can't find the evidence to, obviously prove you wrong, you tell me, what do you think that, okay, let's talk about the border, okay? Can we talk about the border and how, all of that is kind of processed?
We can talk about whatever you want.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the border. Do you think that it's not a fact that how Trump and his administration is handling the border is a little bit better than how Kamala and them were handling the border? Kamala was kind of in charge of that kind of stuff.
Do I think that's not a fact?
I'm asking, I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fact.
Okay, and I genuinely, I've watched a lot of your lives, and I've never heard you really speak much about that. I want to hear what you're thinking about it, because to me, that sounds like complete and utter, sickening, biggest lie you could tell yourself. But I'm willing to listen to you.
So the reason why you think that that's the biggest lie I could tell myself is because when you look at the numbers, you see a lot of undocumented entry under Biden in his first 2.5 years, right? And then you see the fact that undocumented entry has fallen by 97% in the last year, okay, right? And they're like, well, border crossings are so much lower now. How could you not say he's handling it better? It's because of what he's done to cause that outcome, okay? Listen, if Donald Trump implemented good proactive policy that reduced undocumented entry now and in the long term by addressing its root cause, which is slow, neglected, and inexpensive legal means of entry, then I'd say it's a good thing. But a matter of fact, okay, that is not how Donald Trump reduced undocumented entry. He didn't do that through good policy. He did that through fascism, Okay, right? The reason why I believe we've seen a reduction in the amount of undocumented entry into this country in the last 10 months is because he has scared it away by violating both the human and constitutional rights of undocumented immigrants that are already in this country. If you would like me to give you very specific examples, let me know and I will.
I'm gonna say though, like one thing that he's gone about it, like if you didn't do the legal process, like with the Biden administration, they didn't. A lot of them didn't do a lot of the legal ways to do things. So he's kind of putting his foot down. And yes, you're seeing a lot of deportations, and you're seeing a lot of.
Do you
this,
agree
and
with
like,
deportations?
Oh my God, look at how. And you're saying like it's whatever the words you use. You said it was like the rights or whatever, the immigrants. But the vote of the matter is like, yes, they're humans, they whatever, but they can go through the legal process to do that. It's not illegal, and it's not.
So you don't support people breaking the law?
I don't support people breaking the law, and that's why I'm saying that legally you have to do the legal process. And if people are getting deported,
if you don't support breaking the law, then you obviously don't support the fact that Donald Trump has infringed on the Constitution 5 or 6 times in the last 8 months, is a 34-count felon and adjudicated rapist. So how do you support him as president?
So I would like to say that you did change the complete subject from what I was talking about. I was talking about one thing, and you kind of just changed it to him being whatever. That's not what we're talking about.
I understand how I understand how you could look at that and think it's a pivot, but in all reality, right, there's a conceptual relationship between the 2 points. You're like, let's deport undocumented immigrants, punish them for breaking the law, even if it makes this country worse. Okay? But seemingly, right, you view these as rules for thee, but not for the T, that T being Donald Trump, right? Because when he does something that is exorbitantly worse than committing a federal misdemeanor, like committing 34 felonies, raping E. Jean Carroll, infringing on the Constitution, or boasting about sexual exploitation, you just kind of brush it under the rug. When he faces no accountability, you don't really care. In fact, you want to make him president. So it's related, right? But it's a relationship that I'm bringing up to prove your own hypocrisy.
Okay, since you keep changing it to this, I'm gonna kind of briefly go over this. I think that it is kind of impossible for even if it was Biden in the situation, it's really impossible with politics to have a rightful court trial. I'm not saying he didn't do it, because obviously I can't read minds, and I don't know, like, you can't know exactly what happened, not even you, even if it's law, like there's some innocent murderers. But what I'm saying is like, it is really hard to find a right trial for them because people are biased. People hate Trump. Like, even if it was Biden, people hate Biden. They'd be very biased. So the point of the matter is... So
what if you knew that he actually did these things? You were confident of it. Like, for instance, what if you knew he had sexually exploited naked girls and or naked women? Would you still support him as president?
Okay, how do you know that? There is no actual proof. And
yeah, I'm saying if there was, if you were fully convinced that he has done this, if you're fully convinced that he has sexually exploited naked teen girls and or naked women by like perving on them unconsensually when they had no clothes on in like a private dressing room, would you still support him as president?
I don't support that, but my whole point with that was like how I support his leadership.
So I just want a yes or no. If you knew, if you fully knew, if you're confident that Donald Trump had sexually exploited little girls, would you still support him as president?
Not entirely, but I still would support what he's doing. I'm not saying that's a very hard question to ask.
The question is, overall, okay, if you knew he'd sexually exploited teen girls, if you were teleported back to November, would you still vote for him?
I wouldn't. Okay, can I make this clear? I will answer your question. I would vote for what I believe in. So if that's a Democrat, if that's Republican, I am so far off of like Kamala and them that it's a really hard question to ask because I'm so against on what Kamala's for that I would pretty much vote for anything that's not Kamala. If it was a different candidate, like a Democratic candidate that I agreed with some of his moral, whatever, I would vote for him. I'm making it very clear that even like right now,
is just the answer to the question a yes or a no? And by the way, her name is pronounced Kamala.
Okay. But anyway, fine. No, I will give you that answer.
So you would regret voting for Trump if you knew that he had sexually exploited little girls or women?
No. Yes, that's a hard. I'm sorry. Yes, like I do not support that. I don't support that.
So you would
But
regret voting for him if you knew he'd done these things? Yes or no? Just be
I would
honest.
regret having him on the ballot at all. Yes,
That's just not the question that I asked you.
If you want a simple yes or no, you're 100% right on that. But there's no actual fact. It's hard to have.
You're saying that you wouldn't regret voting for him.
No, I'm saying like I wouldn't vote for that. No, I'm not saying that.
Okay, so
like
you
I
would
wouldn't vote for a rapist or whatever. Besides Trump,
you would regret voting for him.
I wouldn't vote for that if that was the case. But I don't believe in that.
So you would regret voting for him, right?
Yeah, I keep answering this question.
The answer is yes. I just wanted a clear and direct answer. I think that a lot of Trump supporters come up on this live, and after, right, I asked them this question, and I play them the clip of Donald Trump admitting to sexually exploiting either little girls and or naked women, right? Then you try to play some game of like mental gymnastics, where you try to explain how, although you still support him as president, this doesn't contradict what you said before I played you the clip. But in this circumstance, you just told us that you would definitely regret voting for Donald Trump as president, and you would no longer support him today if it was the case that you knew he had sexually exploited naked women and or naked girls. Well, here is a clip of Donald Trump admitting to exactly that on Howard Stern's radio show. Let's take a listen.
But later
The
on,
question is, how can it not be construed?
no, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
And again, I fully respect what you say, but let me just speak for just a minute, okay? I will say that if that stuff happened, yes, that's screwed up that he is on the ballot and whatever, like he should be on the ballot. But there's no way. Well, what I'm saying is like, at some point there becomes a crisis, okay, on what you believe in, and if some party is a part of is doing things that you totally disagree with, it becomes kind of a crisis and kind of a political standpoint where there are some things that Trump does or Trump stands for that people stand for. So yes, if that stuff were to have happened, theoretically, I don't agree with it, but I think that it's a crisis. I mean, I am a gunslinging Republican, just gunslinging out in the country, whatever, and it's not. I agree with what he believes in. That's what I'm trying to get to tell you today. Is yes, I wish that there was somebody else on the ballot.
Why do y'all always fucking do this, dude? I swear to God, you understand that we don't have the memory of a goldfish. You understand that we all remember you telling us, yes, you would not have voted for Trump, and you would regret your support and your vote for Trump if you knew he had done what he just admitted to in that clip. Now, after I actually play that clip and prove that he's done these things per his own admission, all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm actually going to change my language now and say, well, I wish he wasn't on the ballot if, theoretically, what you're saying is true. Even though right before I played that clip, you didn't just merely say you wish he wasn't on the ballot, but you said even though he was on the ballot, you wouldn't have voted for him and you would regret voting for him. And that is not theoretically if it's true. I just prove that it's true by playing you a clip of him admitting to it and boasting about it.
Okay. And why did what I said get kind of dismissed on far as what I was standing for politically? And I was kind of telling you a little bit on what I believe in what Trump's doing, and you kind of turned it into this, which I get what you're saying on. Why would I vote for him if he was this?
Let's have a big old long conversation about border policy as soon as you could address the fact that you said you'd regret voting for Trump if you knew that he had sexually exploited naked women and or naked girls. And then I played you a clip of him admitting to sexually exploiting naked women and or naked girls, and you haven't told us that you regret your vote for Trump yet.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm saying that there's things like AI, there's things like whatever. So I don't know where that sources came from.
You don't know
I
if
don't
it's
know.
real? Oh,
there
my
is
goodness.
things called CNN, and all of that practically is fake. I swear.
Okay,
They come up
then
with the
let me
biggest
tell you.
things.
That's a clip from 2005. AI wasn't a thing and couldn't emulate voices in 2005. And that's coming from Howard Stern's radio show, one of the largest radio shows, right, in modern American history, super popular in the 90s and early 2000s. In fact, I could bet that there's a surprising amount of the older audience that is watching this right now that literally listen to it live. Okay? Right? It is season 11, episode 7 of the Howard Stern Show that aired live on August 21st, 2005. And it was heard live by a lot of the people in the chat right now.
Okay, and I get that, and I get where you're coming
So
from.
it's real.
But
Can we agree that
asked
clip is
me-
real? Can we agree that
But-
clip is Trump? Can we? Okay, let's keep it simple. Okay, no distractions, no pivots, nothing special, nothing extra. Can we agree that clip is real?
I will. Okay, I'll come to a common ground with you, and I will say that that is probably something that happened. Okay, I'm going to. And I will say that I understand why you don't support Trump
So
himself.
the answer is yes. You agree that he has sexually exploited naked women and/or naked girls. So before I played you that clip, what did I ask you? I asked you if you knew Donald Trump had sexually exploited naked girls and/or naked women, would you regret voting for him? And you said yes. So, sir, I only want to hear one word come out of your mouth, either yes or no. Because you said you would regret voting for Trump if you knew he had sexually exploited naked women and/or naked girls, and I just proved to you that that's something he's done, and you accepted that's something he's done, do you regret voting for Trump?
I'm gonna say
Yes or no?
Trump himself. Yeah, yes.
I just want a yes or no.
Fine. Yes.
Okay, so you do regret voting for Trump, so you're no longer a Trump supporter.
I will not. I will not go to the extent of saying that I'm a Democrat because I believe in what I believe and you believe in what you believe. But I do believe that there is better than Trump, and I think that when it comes to that time to elect, I will vote for who I think. However, like I'm saying, there is some things that is a crisis in this country that we need to seriously work on, and there's no working on those things with the Biden-Harris administration or with Kamala or anything like that. There's no working on those things. So what I was trying to point to you is that there are things that Trump's doing right, and there's reasons why people are supporting him, even if all of this stuff's going on to make this country better. Right now it's a complete crisis.
So go ahead and give me 3 things that Donald Trump is doing to make this country better. Be very specific.
Okay, I will tell you right what I mentioned. I will tell you with the border policies and
Which ones?
I can't name a specific. I'm sorry, I do not have a computer. I'm in front of my face.
Well,
but I do
so
not have.
just give me a vague idea. What border policy? Give me a vague idea. Don't
He
even
is debate-
You don't need to give me the specific name. Just give me a vague idea. What are these border policies doing? What precisely are they doing? What are they? Be specific.
We are getting rid of those immigrants that did not come here legally.
Oh, mass deportation. Sure. Go ahead and name one specific way that mass deportation materially benefits this country.
By making people not think, oh, we can just come into this country freely.
Okay. So by disincentivizing undocumented entry. Okay. What does that do to materially benefit this country? To disincentivize undocumented entry by and through a mass deportation.
Okay, well, can you answer this question for me?
No, I want
really
you to
fast?
answer mine.
Okay, restate your question.
Name one way, one very specific way that mass deportation materially benefits this country and or anybody in it.
By making it very clear that you can't just walk into this country and think you own the place. You got to go through legal process.
So you're saying that mass deportation benefits this country by making it clear that if you enter into this country as an undocumented immigrant, you're going to be deported. And how does that benefit this country? I'm forcing you to think. Don't run away now. I'm forcing you to think. And he left. You force a Trump supporter to think. They either experience an epiphany, right? They wake up, right? And they turn to the light. Or that happens.